How's it going, everybody? We are live on Financial Fitness Friday. Dave, what's going on?
Jonathan, I'm good, buddy. How are you? Good to see you, my man.
I'm great. So, what I want to go over today is how to keep score. Okay. And the reason this matters is because a lot of people go through life just going through the motions. Okay. And it is very, very hard to reach any endpoint of any type of value if you are just going through the motions. Okay. And I've seen it over and over and over. I see it with clients and guys. I work with 7, 8, 9 figure companies. Okay, and I work with people just starting, but the majority of my clients are in that upper echelon. And so, what I would tell you is this: even some of the people that I work with don't keep score. Okay, some really successful business operators and entrepreneurs do not keep score, which is crazy to me. Okay, because anytime you have to get any type of financing or any type of large purchase, they want to see your scorecard. So what does a scorecard look like on a personal basis? It's a personal financial statement. Okay. And all a personal financial statement does is list your assets and your liabilities and allows you to come up with the difference, which is your net worth. Okay. Now I understand that not money is not everything. It's not every single goal. However, money allows you to, it gives you freedom. Okay. It gives you freedom. It allows you to help people. It allows you to make a greater impact. So if you're one of those people that say money isn't everything, yeah, you know what? It isn't everything, but it allows you to do everything. Okay. And so if you want to be successful, if you want to reach the highest heights, you need to keep score. And the more often you can look at the scoreboard, okay, the higher sense of urgency you're going to have. All right. So what I would challenge you to do is if you've never done a personal financial statement, go online, you Google, get a personal financial statement, put one together. Okay. If you need help with this and you're an active listener, I reach out, I will help you if it's confusing. It's really not that confusing. And once you do it once, it's very easy to do and it's even easier to update. Okay. Figure out what your net worth is and then do it on a quarterly basis. And then if you really want to go crazy, do it on a monthly basis. The other thing that this is going to allow you to do is also track like where your expenses are. Okay. Like what are your liabilities? How much do you owe? Right. It allows you to pay some of these things down and actually work on the things that are going to allow you to build and design a life that you want to live. All right. It doesn't get any bigger than that. I mean, straight up. And then the other thing is, you're running a business. Way too many entrepreneurs run a business and they do bank account accounting. Okay, bank account accounting is I'm gonna look at my bank. Up, there's 100,000 in there. Okay, I can go out and I can spend $5,000 on leads. Okay, the problem with using bank account accounting is you don't really know where you are. You know, you're going off of the cash that's in there. You're not going off. You don't know what your margins are. Okay, you don't know if you're profitable, if you're losing money. So it's the equivalent of driving a car down a highway blindfolded. Okay, you're trying to make decisions to move your company forward, and you're just looking at one of the more insignificant metrics, which is just cash in the bank. I mean, cash in the bank is very, very, very important, but understanding if you're making and losing money on it any given month or week or day, okay, and then figuring out why how you made that money or why you didn't make money, and making those adjustments is even more critical. Dave, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's huge. And like, look, I'm guilty of not doing it enough, right? So for me, it's usually once a year. It's usually before accounting season or the end of the year. No, and it's not only, and guys, it's easy to let things slip through the cracks, right? It's not only knowing like what you have liabilities, because that's a lot of stuff that I look at. There's shit that I have that I forget on the positive side, right? Like, oh man, I have this account over here that actually has pretty decent amount of cash that I kind of forgot about. You know what I mean? Because I don't touch it. You let it sit in there. So things like that, it's important. I think it's also good sometimes, I'm one that I like to see things myself, but I also like to have a team involved too to get other perspective, whether that's your accountant, whether you have a financial advisor, right? To kind of bounce ideas off of too. Hey, I'm looking good over here. Or, hey, maybe I can move this over here. Or this isn't looking so good. What are your thoughts and opinions? Because again, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, right? That's my strengths and weaknesses are that. My strengths are in other places. My weaknesses are in other places too. And I think one of the other things, guys, from the business standpoint is take advantage of QuickBooks if you have it. Look at your P&L. Get that in order every single month. Because Jonathan's right on that. Live in cash, especially new businesses coming in. Hey, got money in here, man. This is great, right? Okay, well, what are you spending out? What does that look like? You might have a pile of cash in the bank account, but if you're looking at a P&L statement, you could be negative coming through and not even know it. And there's some things to really like hone in on that. Treat it like a business, man. It's not just, hey, I got all this money now. What can I do with this? Now I could go buy ads, or I could buy something dumb like a brand new car that that's 6 figures when I don't need it yet. Just
well, here you mentioned something, and I want to bring this up. You mentioned a new business doing this compared to an old business. And here's what I'll tell you guys. Most businesses,
right,
don't have this dialed in. And a big reason a lot of the smaller businesses do fail, or they do not grow, or they don't get to that elusive 7 figures a year. Okay. I think the top only 5% of companies ever reach that, or 2% of companies ever reach that. I've built 3 of them. All right. Here's the reality, guys. These habits, these things that we're talking about, okay, having your financials, most young operators never have that. There's a reason why most businesses don't reach that $1 million a year in revenue mark. Okay. And for the most part, that's where everything starts. Okay. If you were asking me, hey, where do things start to develop? Where do things start to get interesting? Where does it start to get fun? Having a business that does at least $1 million a year, that's a pretty good entry point. Okay. If you're just from my experience, that's a pretty good entry point. And one of the biggest things to get there is actually understanding what we're talking about. Okay. Having the personal financial statement. But if you're an operator, an entrepreneur, even more important, having your financials done on a monthly basis, weekly basis, and actually understanding all the ebbs and flows of your business and how the money flows. Because without understanding that, you can't plan and you can't grow, because you are eventually going to make a mistake. You're going to look in the bank and say, oh, all right, I can cover this. Okay. And not realize that you have another bill or two due, coming next week that might have been larger. Okay. I've seen this happen time after time after time. And typically what happens is when you don't know your numbers, you make a mistake like that. And now instead of operating your business, you're operating from behind and trying to cover that mistake. And so that typically leads, especially when you're under 2 years in business, to going out and borrowing money. That money is typically very expensive, because that is you are absolutely applying from a position of weakness and not a position of strength. Okay. And lending is all based upon risk. So the riskier you are, the more expensive the money is going to be. Okay. That's a very, very risky proposition. And so what I see a lot is people make that mistake and then they go out and get lending that makes it even harder. And now you're fighting a loan, or you're fighting some type of financing, and you're fighting growing your business, when this never had to happen had you just been dialed in and known your numbers the entire time.
Yeah.
David,
just a question or two. Like, what do you think is the easiest way for somebody to start? Excel, look up for just some type of template, app. Like, how does somebody that's never done this, like at all, like what's the simplistic way to get a start doing that?
Okay. For tracking financials?
Sure.
QuickBooks is the easiest way. Now, here's what I would tell you. If it's very important for you to understand the numbers, there's a ton of like QuickBooks videos, classes that you can watch and to basically map this out, how to do it. The best thing you could do though is get a bookkeeper. So spend a little bit of money. I think my bookkeeper cost me like $100 a month or $200 a month, whatever it is. It's not actually. I'm sorry. It's probably not that. The reality is I don't even know what it is, because it's probably so small I don't notice or see it. But it's not $100 or $200 a month. It's probably more than that. It doesn't matter. They do it. I check QuickBooks. I have everything at my fingertips whenever I need it. It's a massive difference.
And another thing, you probably bought back your time, got it off your plate. That's menial, but super, super crucial.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, listen, you heard it here first. I hope you guys crush the month. I hope you guys are ready to have an amazing, amazing June. All right. Appreciate you guys listening. Please share this with someone that needs to hear it. Watch it to the end because, guys, there's a lot of actionable stuff that we gave you that does make a big, big difference. All right. We'll catch you on Mindset Monday.
Be great job.
There you go.